bloom water, I believe it's called. This is what's left from Jeff's very kind donation to me, a sample of, again, the Zingari Man. This is the Sega shaving soap, the Mousse Alemani, Rogue in flavour or aroma or whatever. Anyway, I must admit, it's a very, very kind, and I've had 3, maybe 4 shaves from this stuff. I'm doing the usual dapper shaves trick, rubbing some on my mush just to make sure it soaks in a little bit. My brush, of course, is the gigantic 30mm Yaki, because I like big things. Particularly my razor, again today, which is going to be the wonderful Iberia 14 from the incredible Gary. This will be slightly touched up. It had a very, very slight fault near the nose, only on the spine, but it was an overlooked manufacturing, very small defect, which of course I have now polished out, so it's absolutely perfect. Also, again courtesy of the very kind Gary, I've put a little bit of white TI paste on a wonderful springy paddle strop. The springy paddle strops are far superior to just a rigid plank. It has a buff leather side one side and a very nice smooth leather side the other. You apply the paste to the buff side, 12 laps on the blade and then 12 on the nice smooth leather, followed by a good fast stropping on my Kanayama wonderful cordovan, shell cordovan leather strop. And the HHT is incredible. Both lengths of a hair should be perfect. So it actually pings down the side of the hair and on the other side of the hair. As we all know, under a microscope you can clearly see that there's a grain, scales in fact, on a hair follicle, and those scales, they cut far easier going in and much harder against the grain. So I'm only happy when I get a good ping from both. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. I think you'll agree that that's a pretty good lather. So this Zingari stuff is very, very nice. I've got to say, one of the things I like, I'm no expert, again, more little tricks coming up. Make a hole in your big giant brush, put a little bit of water in there from a warm tap, and continue lathering. Anyway, thanks Jacques, very useful tip that actually, very useful indeed. He's the man. Anyway, on with the shave. I think that will do. I was disappointed last time I tried to do a video because my crappy phone packed up, which of course is the worst thing that can happen when you're making a video. Anyway, here's the Iberia. Now in its very, very, very slightly refined state. There is the tiniest, tiniest little defect, only right on the very nose. Just a tiny little defect, which using 2500 grit emery paper and patience, followed by a buff, a good buffing on my pillar drill. Anyway, let's see how this works. I'm going to try just using the camera rather than a mirror. Ooh, listen to that lovely crisp sound. Oh, that's the sign of a good edge. Absolutely effortless. You get a lot of feedback with a deep hollow. Some people would say maybe too much. But for me, I find them kinder. How about that? One pass and I can't feel any stubble at all. This is about 2 days. About 2 days worth of stubble. So, without further ado, let's use my other mitt and try the other side. Very nice low angle, as you can see. This is a kind blade. I do believe, seriously, that you get kind blades and unkind blades. Oh, can you hear that? That's cool. My rather brittle wire-like stubble, I do believe that as you get older, well, the stubble becomes old with it. But I can just feel a little tiny bit of resistance, a little tiny bit of stubble there. So I'm going to go over that against the grain and see how it copes. Just washing some of the lather off. Let's try against the grain. As you can see, effortless. Nah, I can't feel anything now. To any newbies that might be watching this, and we've all been there, I would honestly say the whole point and the whole beauty of straight razor shaving is that you get better and better and better at it. And you're chasing a wonderful dream. You're chasing the fact there is no better feeling than a BBS shave from a straight razor, particularly when you've honed yourself. But you don't have to start with honing. But certainly, yeah, it's beautiful. It's funny how one side of my face always seems to be easier than the other. But I'm not going to make this an incredibly complicated BBS. For the simple reason, it's my brother's birthday today. And I'm going to take him out to a really nice cafe. And I'm going to spoil him with an all-day breakfast, which is one of my little treats. I was skating yesterday on the seafront here in Littlehampton in West Sussex, and my good friend and fellow wet shaver now, Jeff, call out to you, Jeff. We like that, it's one of our regular little stops. And my good skating buddy, Gianluca Polisi, he came down from Woking. He skated a couple of miles. It's still rather cold. And then we ended up in Toast, where we partook of a simply wonderful all-day breakfast. I can't believe how good this is. I could do this all day. I probably will. I'll make this a relatively short video, I hope. And I'll leave you guys in peace, so to speak. But this is wonderful. I fully understand how some people prefer quarter hollows. Some people prefer wedges. For me, no, I'm going to do a mirror.
Yeah. She's a big blade, this one. Got to judge your angles right. Oh, so say every razor is different. And this one is a massive blade. I've got to say I love it. Yeah, smooth as smooth. The only problem with a very deep hollow, it's so flexible, the blade, that you can sometimes find that under the nose you get a little bit of resistance and the blade sort of wobbles a bit. So it can be a little bit difficult getting right in deep like that. But generally, perfect, absolutely faultless. So chaps, without much further ado, probably leave you in peace. Always difficult under the chin. There always is a resistance here. I find it's the most difficult area to achieve BBS. That's not quite there yet, but it will be. It will be. Persistence is the trick. And a good lather. Yeah, that's got it. That's BBS. Little tiny bit of hair here on the lower neck. Hardly anything, to be honest. Hardly a thing. Well, chaps, for once, I'm going to call that a day. Of course, it's perfect. So, just for a change, to show you the full horrors of my shaving ritual, I'm just washing the lather off. I always use a completely new dry flannel to wipe off the blade immediately. You can't really afford the risk of getting any starting corrosion. And the worst culprit for that is our friend the alum block. If, as I've once done, use a quick wipe over with the alum block, and then you think, oh look, I've missed a little spot there, and without thinking you pick up your razor, you touch the little spot of stubble, but you've still got alum block residue on your face, and that will rot the living watsits out of your blade almost instantly. Your high carbon blade will become a nice black commando knife. So you'll have a lovely black stain on your blade, which you then need to very carefully buff off, which quite honestly is a pain in the backside. However, alum block going on, and as I thought, as I suspected, I can't feel a bloody thing. That's a smooth shave. When you put the alum block on like that, and you can't feel it. It's just a nice smooth, very occasional tingle in the places like your sideburn, but otherwise, look, under the nose, everywhere else, absolute perfection. Oh, here comes my post. I must go now, chaps. See you later. Thanks for watching.